Yo, what's up, friends? Welcome back to the local podcast. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Greensburg Video. That's my video and photography company located right here on Main Street in Greensburg. If you and your company are up for some fresh ideas and some engaging content, look no further than Greensburg Video. You can check out my work at gbgvideo.net or greensburgvideo.com. My portfolio is growing daily, so you can check that out. Shoot me a message, and we'll figure out a strategy for you. Speaking of advertising, you can do that for your business right here on the local podcast. If you're interested in that, hit me up at thelocal724.com. All right, friends, today we're going to be talking to award-winning musician Derek Woods. Let's do it. Welcome to the Local 724 podcast in 3, 2, 1. Derek Woods in the house. What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, dude. I think this one was a long time coming, huh?
I know, man. I've been wanting to come on here a long time.
Dude, I know. I was bummed out when I did the Love Local concert series.
Yeah.
That whole week was like, great weather. Everything was kick ass. And then all of a sudden it rained the day that you and your brother were supposed to play.
Oh, man.
I was like, shit. Man. So let's just start where any great story starts. We'll start right at the beginning. Why don't you tell me about your childhood and kind of how you got into music?
Yeah, well, I came from a musical family. My dad's a musician, and he's now in the New York Blues Hall of Fame. So he's been at it a long time, since he was really young as well. So growing up with that, there was always music in our house, and that influenced myself and my brother a lot. Then we ended up being musicians as well. And there was also like other musicians that were always traveling through and staying at our house. And growing up, they had some workshops at our houses as well, and different homes we lived in. So yeah, there was a lot of influence growing up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, like, dude, that's so wild that was your dad was he a touring artist at the time when you were young?
Yeah, he was. He had his own group, and they were playing around a lot. Yeah.
That's so wild to think, you grew up and you're just a kid and you've got these musicians just all over the house, kind of like hanging out and staying over when they pass through or something like that. That's just that's awesome. That's something that a lot of people just they couldn't even understand, couldn't fathom that. Yeah. And I mean, it was just when my dad got remarried as well, their wedding ended up just being in our backyard, and it was just basically just a big concert. Yeah. Camping, it ended up being like a festival, and they had a bunch of awesome acts, and I even performed at it. So it's pretty crazy. Dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So back then, I guess it was just in your blood from day one? Was that pretty much it?
Yeah, both my parents, my mom and my dad, they're both, big music fans. And my mom, she does artwork. And, so we definitely had a really creative household. And there was always music on. And I guess it was just in my blood. He didn't force it on us or anything like that we had to get into it. But I mean, my brother and I, we both were instantly, I guess we were meant to be musicians. I don't know. It's always,
Was guitar the first thing that you picked up?
Whenever I was really young, I took piano lessons for a little while. My brother actually took piano lessons, and he went a little further with it. But yeah, guitar was my main thing. Then whenever we were young as well, my dad would teach my brother and I how to harmonize.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. We would do like the row your boat, and different things like that. So that kind of taught us like the vocal side of things, but I didn't end up being a vocalist until years later. Yeah.
Well, that's really interesting, man. So you and your brother, and you're hanging out and you're playing and stuff like that. I mean, you had like your own band there at the house. That's pretty nice. Yeah. You didn't have to travel far for practice. So, I mean, did that really start like you, your brother, and then like your dad? You guys were just kind of like, would you jam or get some like, I'm air quoting here, lessons from dad and stuff like that?
I mean, pretty much like, holidays, it was always, we, had all the equipment set up and we would all jam together. And, I guess that was, the first, but we'd have the mic open to, anything whoever's at the, even if they don't play an instrument, they can get up and tell a joke, or they could, do.
That's awesome.
And so it'd be like a big jam and just open to anything. So
yeah, so just like real open ended, just kind of like, it puts me in mind of, 60s, 70s, free spirited hippies. That's awesome, man. Have you ever played, there's a really cool, like open mic. It's Spiels. Have you ever been there?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's a gem there. It's really good spot.
It's really neat, man. A friend of mine and I walked in there and, they have those cigar box guitars like all over the place. And I was like, man, this place is rad as hell.
Yeah.
It's so neat there.
I mean, that's a really cool spot there.
Uh-huh.
Definitely awesome.
A lot of old school guys there.
But yeah, and the son, he builds a lot of the guitars as well. So
yeah,
I think he's on the other side of the state, maybe. But yeah, he builds a lot of the Shane Spiel builds.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man. So I guess like that's your early years and stuff. Going into like maybe your teen years and things like that when you were getting into high school. What did music look like to you then?
Well, I was in a lot of different bands during that period, just trying to kind of, get foot in the door and get experience and play anywhere we could. And so there was a lot of bands during that period of time and kind of figuring out, what sounds I want to make and,
right.
And just, being creative and finding other people that actually play instruments during that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the early years until I was about I'd say maybe 17, 18. It's when the band started getting more serious and we're actually, doing things with it.
That's awesome. I was pretty lucky. Like when I was a kid, I was into music and stuff. I play guitar. And it was just by the grace of God, I had like all the people surrounding me, like all my friends wanted to play music as well. Yeah. So it was just kind of like,
you're lucky, man. You're right. I was begging people to learn an instrument.
Dude, it was nuts. I mean, there was a point in time, I remember us like all kind of getting together and being like, wow, there's a lot of us in this band.
Yeah.
Like, there were like 5 of us. We had like a lead vocalist, 2 guitarists, a bassist, and a drummer. And like, I remember like some of these older like skater guys that we were friends with were like, man, what is this? You guys need like a 3-piece. This 5-person bullshit is too much. Yeah. Like all these old guys. But it was cool. It was a lot of fun just to like be able to like jam with your friends. Yeah. And you really kind of found yourself. Would you agree? Like kind of really defined yourself in those years with your friends. And were you guys always a rock act or did you try different styles of music?
Oh man, I've done a lot of different styles through the years. From like, I definitely grew up in like the punk scene.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, when I was younger. And that's definitely evolved over the years. And I've always been into kind of every style of music though. So, now I'm doing kind of what I grew up on, kind of music. So it's cool to, come full circle with that.
For sure. It's really weird. I know. I mean, that's kind of what we started with. We were doing kind of like the garage band, punk rock, teen punk rock, pop stuff.
Yep.
And, that was fun. And we were doing that. And then all of a sudden we took a turn for screamo and we did that for a while. And then after that kind of stopped, I went to college and then found girls. And then, all of that stuff that became more interesting to me. And then, it wasn't really until this year or last year, 2020, that I really was like, man, I miss playing guitar because I didn't really have much to do last year.
Yeah.
So, I was like, you know what? I had sold all my gear at one point. So I went and I started buying stuff and I'm just like jamming, like, a little bit here and there. And what I realized was I started playing punk rock again. So like I went back, I've been listening to like the Queers and Weston and man, all these like old fucking bands like Digger and just all this shit that I like used to listen to back in the day. And I'm really just like enjoying the hell out of it now.
Oh yeah, man. I actually not too long ago revisited some of that as well. And I always go back to it,
Yeah. I feel like they have a really good, like that music and just like really nice rock music. Like, as plain day rock as you can think of, are really just like the basis of, and it's not like the fanciest music you ever play in your life, but it really is just like so melodic. And it's just everything that your brain and your mind just wants to hear and jam along with. If you can predict, you play two chords and you can predict what the next two are going to be. It's just like the most comforting music in the world.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. It's awesome, man. I love it. But, did you end up going to college?
Yeah. So I was in IEP and then I was still doing music there. I kind of did a little bit more, kind of like experimental music during that period of time. And that is when I joined a pop rock band during that period of time.
Nice.
And we moved, we were in kind of like the New York area for a little while. And then we went to Los Angeles. So
Nice.
that kind of pulled me from the college scene.
Yeah.
And, that was the first group that kind of was like our real foot in the door. And, it was like, okay, this is, we're doing this serious now. This is, not just a hobby.
Right. Dude, that's pretty sweet, man. What was the name of the band?
That band was called The London.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really cool, man. So you get out to LA and how'd that go?
We were living in a van.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, man. We just, we had no safety net. We just, living in a van and we were.
That's as punk rock as it gets right there, man.
Yeah. So, at that point we were just, trying to contact different producers. We had music, we had demos, and we, wanted to find a producer to record an album. We did land one and he ended up being this Grammy award-winning producer. And it was like, we just hit a home run with him. So, he took us to a studio in Texas called Sonic Ranch, which is incredible studio. And he produced our album and then he ended up signing us for his management. So like everything kind of all started rolling then. And, we stayed in Los Angeles and we got out of the van and found a place to live. And, we ended up, we were about probably 20, 21. I think I was maybe 21 at that point. And, we ended up landing. We found someone who was a husband and wife that were getting divorced and let us stay in their house till the bank took it, basically. And it was in Hollywood Hills.
Right on.
Yeah. So we had the producer coming there and it was just a lot of luck.
Right. Started from the bottom. Now we're here.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool, man. It's insane to think that like 21, you've already put in so much time and effort into your music. And at 21, is kind of where you get your foot in the door and things are starting to like really take shape. 21 is so young. 21 is like so insanely young.
Yeah. Looking back on it now, it's like, wow. Like I thought I had it figured out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so wild. Like everyone always thinks they have everything figured out until like, something changes in a few years. You look back and you're like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I do it right now. I'm going to do it again in like 5 years.
Yep. Yeah. They say like every, I think 5 or 7 years or something like that, your personality changes a little bit. So.
Yeah, it's wild, man. So Derek Woods living in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah, man. And, we were,
just rocking and rolling.
Really young, and the ball was really rolling, but I don't know. We were young, so
yeah,
it was hard to kind of take on that everything we needed to do and
that whole level of responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically like a boot camp, for us, for just learning everything and soaking everything in, and I mean, the producer was pretty hardcore as well.
Yeah,
he had us like out exercising, running, and everything to build up our voices, our vocals, and everything, and making our lungs stronger. And just like all day long, we were rehearsing either on our own or as a band. And then we were doing different pre-production as well. So it was pretty intense. At 21,
for sure.
Yeah.
You guys probably all just wanted to go like chill at a bar or something like that. And you're up doing sprints at 6 a.m.
It is a different experience, but we were out there for a while, and we came back to Pittsburgh. And of course I did move back out there and, lived there for a while. So,
yeah. So what, how did that end up? Did you guys you came back here and just kind of
we ended up all parting ways. And then I actually went off and started doing my own solo stuff. And I moved back to Los Angeles. And I was just starting doing it there. And I was working for a record label out there as well. Called Century Media Records. So I was working as a tour manager. And so, that was just kind of more soaking in more stuff where I could manage my own band.
Right.
And so, like I said, I was starting to do a lot more solo stuff. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be in a band again. I'm going to just do my own thing. And, at such a young age, that's right. Like, I thought it was like, I've done it all at this point. And, that got old fast being the only one on stage. So I missed collaborating with people and having, just that feeling of having other people on stage with you and feeding off each other and the energy. So I brought a couple guys on with me in Los Angeles, and that was basically the early beginnings of Derek Woods Band. We then ended up relocating back to Pittsburgh, and that's when the ball really started getting rolling with the core members of Derek Woods Band, and just, really getting the train rolling there.
Yeah. So you moved back out there, and is your solo stuff kind of geared towards the rock, folky rock stuff? Is that where you started?
It was a mix between, it's definitely a lot different than what we're doing now. But it was almost like kind of like garage rock, sort of the beginning. Kind of, it had that sound, but we were going for like a rock and roll kind of sound. Yeah.
And it's cool. I mean, like everything evolves, and like it's just it's wild to see like how things just kind of end up and they evolve, and you guys are still going to evolve. It's not even, you're not even done now. So these guys that you met, were they from LA?
So it was
they moved back with you?
A bunch of guys from Pittsburgh that lived in LA.
That's awesome. You guys have like a secret club that you hang out at? Yeah. It's like Pittsburgh meets LA. Yeah.
We had our little Pittsburgh community there.
That's awesome.
But whenever I got back to Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh area, that's when Joshua Carnes, the lead guitarist, that's actually still with us now, him and I joined together, and that was him and I always do a lot of he does a lot of arrangements with the band. So like I'll bring the songs to the table, and he'll help with the arrangements, and everyone puts their 2 cents into the songs at that point. So having that from the very beginning was a really great thing to band,
all that collaboration and, all of that. I could imagine that, you were probably missing that while you were doing some solo stuff. That's
yeah. And I thought that's what I wanted to do. But it's just such a different thing, It really
is. I mean, like I always kind of equated being in a band to having, and now we had a huge band, but I always said like, it's like having 5 girlfriends at one time. You literally have to this guy's pissed off because this guy doesn't want to come to practice on this day. And it's like, there's some drama.
And you have to,
it's a wild thing. And it was luckily, like I said, we were all like really tight friends and we really didn't get too far into like any drama or anything like that until we tried to take the next step and go a little further. And we ended up on the front page of this music site. It was called Pure Volume. I don't know if you remember purevolume.com. So we ended up on the front page of that and we started getting phone calls and it was like, hey, you guys should sign with us. You should sign with us. So we're young kids, just, like you were saying. And we went to a notary. We had to sign a contract and like, this is all very exciting. And we go do this stuff. And then all of a sudden, one of the guys is like, I don't really want to do this. And like, it was like, we'd have to quit school or would have to give up his job or something like that. And, good thing we didn't, because he still works where he did work. And now he's like running the damn place. So good thing he didn't quit. But it was just, it sucked at the time because like, we were starting to go out. We went on one tour. That was awesome. Yeah. That was fun. And what's one of the things that you thought tour would be, but didn't end up kind of stacking up to your expectations?
Man. Well,
I'm interested.
My first tour, we had an RV. It was a 1977 Shasta RV, and we took it from Pittsburgh to Detroit, down to Orlando and back, and it broke down on the way back. So I really didn't think about the first tour like gas. Yeah. We would have to pay for gas.
Yeah,
and
Yikes.
like it was, and also that I'd have to actually like live with these guys for however long. I don't know. There's a lot of things I've learned from touring around.
Right. Dude, it's wild, man.
Yeah.
It really
and as
is.
a tour manager, also, whenever I was working for the record label, being a tour manager, which was also, it was a whole different thing where, I have to kind of babysit the band, and tell them like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do this,
Mm-hmm.
And I was still young at that point too, where like I probably would have done that.
Right.
And they weren't doing anything bad, but it's like, there's like certain things like, oh, we have to leave early the next morning or,
right.
Things like that. So
don't go out and get out of control.
Yeah. That was a whole different side of it,
Yep. Dude, that's wild. What kind of bands were you working with, if you can say?
Well, that was different. That was a metal label. So
okay.
It's a lot of hard rock bands, metal bands. The largest tour I did was with, it was Black Veil Brides and a band called Vampires Everywhere.
Nice.
And it was a 41 date tour.
Wow.
US and Canada.
Yeah.
Montreal. That was a pretty big one. It was every day too. We didn't have any days off.
That's wild.
Yeah, that was a pretty intense one.
Metal guys too, man. Good luck telling them savages not to go drinking.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Oh man. So you're doing, doing pretty well for yourself out here. I see you on Instagram. Yeah. You're just killing it, man. You're cleaning up. You got lots of dates. Well, you had lots of dates on the calendar. When I first started this podcast, it was 2019. It was right at the end of 2019. And I was like scouting all of these Instagram accounts that I kind of wanted to like, curate a relationship with you guys and like, hey, let's have you on and blah, blah, blah. And I looked at your schedule and I was like, holy shit, I'm never going to get this guy. And then 2020 happens.
Yeah, man. We were playing, 4 to 5 days a week, either with the band or me acoustic, some variation of my acoustic stuff. Then also I perform with my dad as well with the Woods Family Band.
Right.
And with my wife every once in a while as acoustic Woods Rising. But Derek Woods Band was really, really busy. And it was kind of a weird transition. Just all of a sudden it was nothing. So what we did was, I always said if I was, God forbid I got in trouble or something, or like some reason I'm like, I have to stay at home.
Yeah.
That I'm going to write an album. So, that happened and we wrote an album. Derek Woods Band has a new album all
full awesome.
Finished. So that's going to be coming out this summer.
That's really exciting. Yeah. Did you guys, did you guys get together to record that, or did you do?
So we demoed everything remotely. Demoed everything remotely. Where normally we'd all be in a room and I'd say, hey, here's a song, and we'd all work on it, and do the pre-production that way. This time around, we all just did it from our homes, and basically whenever we demoed everything, we showed it to the studio we go to, and whenever things got a little bit better for a while, we all went in separately and tried everything. And following that, we had to basically get together and learn the songs as a band.
Right. Yeah. Timing and all of that stuff with each other. Yeah.
Live, for live shows. And so we've done one back so far at the Palace Theater as a band. It was a virtual. So now we're just kind of gearing up for this year.
For what's coming up. Yeah.
Which is forward.
That's awesome, man. And you really did kind of kick this year off in some style here. You guys won an award. What was it? It was the Los Angeles Music in Media.
Yeah. So it was an award show in Los Angeles, Hollywood Music and Media Awards. And normally they have a red carpet and a whole ceremony and everything. And we initially thought it was going to happen. They thought they were going to do kind of a hybrid event, half in person, half just virtual. And then things got worse and ended up all being virtual. But it was still really cool. And it was amazing to win Best Americana Folk Song.
Oh yeah, dude, that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I remember I had your bandmate, Joe Scheller, on the show. I had him on. That dude's my neighbor. So cool. Like literally lives 5 houses down from me. And so we're just like, we're sitting here and we're chatting about, you guys and him in the band and everything. And then he had told me that you guys were nominated for the award. And I was like, man, this is awesome. Yeah. So I was glad to see that you guys won it. That's that's incredible.
Just being nominated, we were like, wow, this is great. And then we all watched the award show, and we were presented the award by Scott Page, who's the saxophone player from, he played with Pink Floyd.
I was going to say, yeah.
And so, I mean, just that was pretty incredible. We were all in shock.
Dude, that's wild, man. That's a long way from living in a van, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like to have your name in line with, other winners were like Trent Reznor won, Justin Blake, John Legend. There was like a lot of people that they're all big names. And there was a lot of soundtracks for movies instead of big name movies. And just to have our name though, next to all that was just,
it's fantastic.
Crazy, man. And now we got the award, and it's insane. It's a big crystal award.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you guys received any kind of flood of calls or any kind of people reaching out?
Yeah, a lot of press.
A lot of press.
And it has helped a lot with, we're kind of behind the scenes doing everything for our new album. So that's definitely been a foot up for us. And, you know, that's helped out a lot. But yeah, a lot of press all over the place, all around the world.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Is the new album, is that still TBD at this point?
Yeah, the release date still is.
Yeah.
It's going to be called Picture Yourself.
Okay.
And it's a full length album, and we're really, really excited about it. I think it's got our best stuff on. I know anyone says that, but I think it's got our best stuff yet.
Yeah.
I think it's really solid. I think we found our sound, you know, what we've been trying to, it's a very polished sound that I think we've been trying to achieve for a long time.
Yeah. And that's awesome, man. That's how it goes back to, you know, when we were talking about like evolving as a band and stuff like that. I mean, you guys, you know, have been writing and performing and all that stuff. And you are getting to a point where, you know, and no band wants to put out an album with, you know, three or four like good songs, and then the rest is, you know, filler. Yeah. So, you know, that's what, you know, this evolving that you guys are doing and stuff like that. And you're really kind of like settling into like your groove, your sound here. It's really interesting to see. And I'm really excited to listen to it.
Yeah. And I mean, I may be biased, but I mean, this was an album where in the past, like, you know, we're like, okay, this is single. This is the single, you know, these ones are cool. These are just cool songs, you know. We always aim to have as many singles as we can, but with this album, it's we are having a hard time deciding, well, what's the first one, because
that's a good problem to have.
A single song on it is like, whoa, this one I could see the music video for it, you know.
Oh yeah, that's a great problem to have.
That would be a first, like for me, having a full length album that every song is like, this could be a video, this could be a single, you know, so it's pretty awesome. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. I'm telling you, when you were, I mean, yeah, you had this in you like your whole life. But when you were, you know, say 12, 13, 14, did you think that you would still be playing music and you'd be doing it professionally?
It's all I've ever wanted to do. Yeah.
So, yeah, dude, that's awesome, man. Yeah. It's really cool that, you know, you kind of had this dream from when you were a kid, and it just like a freight train just rolling through life, man. That's what it was.
Just been pushing ahead, man.
That's fantastic. So what do you see then as the future of this band, since we're talking about like evolving and stuff?
Well, we're starting to, we just did the Palace Theater, and we're doing later in the year, we're doing another theater show. We're doing Carnegie Music Hall.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's been rescheduled a few times now because of COVID and everything. And it was initially scheduled for June, and they just rescheduled it the other day for September now. So hopefully that date sticks, but it's Derek Wood's band and Almond Betts band.
Okay.
All the sons of the Almond Brothers. Yeah. So
that's amazing.
So we're aiming for more theater shows, you know, bigger venues, having this new album out. And I forgot to mention, we recorded it actually locally. We did our past 2 albums locally with Daniel Blake. Yeah. The Schoolhouse. Yeah.
Right on.
So we recorded it with him, then sent it to Los Angeles, and we had a 4-time Grammy Award winning engineer work on it. And he's done Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, the movie. He did Robert Plant, Alison Krauss. He did Game of Thrones. A lot of killer albums.
Big stuff.
Just huge. But I think, you know, having both of them associated with it as well is going to help the album hopefully get us to, you know, where we're trying to get, you know, bigger theaters and bigger venues and growing, you know. Yeah,
I feel like, you know, it's nice to hear the news of like, the CDC saying like, hey, we're going to take 6 feet down to 3 feet, and things are happening. Yeah, we're moving forward, maybe not as fast as we all want, but, I feel like things are happening. And then, with people who are in the scene who, like Adam Fitz, who's trying his hardest to get live music back in action around here. Like, those theater shows, it's fantastic. It's a great idea. Super excited that we have people around here that are like mindful enough to really spearhead those projects.
Totally.
I only see it getting better from here.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. I mean, aside from doing outdoor shows, of course, those are a big focus for us as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just getting back to, some sort of indoor shows again, for the Palace Theater, for places like that is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome, man. Well, I want to thank you for being on the show. I think that this was one of my favorite interviews. I can say that right now. It was a lot of fun. It took me back nostalgia. Man.
I've been good at this for so long. I'm so excited that we finally got to do this.
I know, because this is what I said. Like I was looking at you in 2019, and then I'm actually really happy that it didn't happen until now, because the award came out.
Yeah.
You had these my webcam just went, but I'm still here. But you got the award, you got this album thing going on. It just I think now is a really good time. So hopefully as the restrictions kind of lift and things like that, man, maybe you and myself and Joe can go grab a beer. And
I would love that, man.
Chatting. Yeah, I think it'd be a good time.
Instagram, Facebook, all of it is Derek Woods Band, DerekWoodsBand.com. And then you can find me personally and see when I'm going to be playing with my groups. I am Derek Woods. I am on most Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, dude. All right. Hang on one second. All right, there he goes, Derek Woods. What a great interview, man. That really kind of took me back to my childhood, and really just kind of when music was so accessible, and now all of a sudden music is kind of the furthest thing from accessible. But hopefully we get back to that real soon. So in the meantime, connect with Derek and the band. Go to all of the social channels. I have all those links down in the description, and we'll see you guys next time for a new episode.